When helping their players roll up new characters, famed dungeon masters Limp Bizkit once said, "Min in and max out, stats up and stats down, back up, tell me what you gonna do now? Feats in or feats out, stats up and stats down, back up, tell me what you gonna do now." I keep rolling. Welcome to Homebrew, the show where we avoid the crushing illness of self-isolation with our two favorite forms of escapism, alcohol and Dungeons and Dragons. A couple of announcements before we start this one-shot adventure proper. We have a voucher from the White Hag to give away after our break. So we'll do half a show, we'll have a break in chat, we're going to ask some questions, and we'll pick a random winner. This isn't, it's not like a sponsored voucher or an ad or anything. Essentially, they launched a beer last week called Phantom Hazy IPA, and they did it on a live stream, which I tuned in for, and won a voucher. And I just kind of wanted to pay that love forward for anyone who wants to try out their beers. This is genuinely, I think it's become one of my favorite beers. And I'd already ordered a crate of it for my house, so I didn't need the voucher. So we thought we'd give it away to you guys. So stick around for that. We will have, I believe it covers like 24 cans of beer, which is kind of nice. So we'll give that away after the break. Of course, as always, this show is brought to you by our proud partner and sponsor, Dakota Irish. If you like amazing dice sets, handcrafted dice trays and vaults, amazing towers, why not head to dakotairish.com? And when you fill in your little basket and make your order, put in the code Homebrew Show for 10% off. I believe it's a one-time code. It's kind of a one per shopper kind of thing. So no harm in filling up on some of the more kind of like fancier things you've been putting off to buy yourself and then getting a bigger discount, because the larger the number in the basket, the larger 10% of that is. That's how math works. It's a D&D show. Feels weird to do this announcement because because we're doing it remotely. You might notice it's a little bit of a different setup. We're all in our homes, properly self-isolating and staying safe. So we're not going to have any background music live, but normally that soundtrack is provided by Sirenscape, which is an amazing fantasy soundboard you can find at sirenscape.com. And found this out last night. My favorite. I immediately messaged Gav. If you were watching Tiger King on Netflix and go episode 4, go around 6 minutes and 50 seconds in, the music you hear in the background, which genuinely drove me crazy because I thought the show was on somewhere or a phone alarm was going off, is our intro music when I'm normally doing these announcements. They're using Sirenscape. If it's good enough for the Tiger King, it's good enough for us.
Wait, is it the Sirenscape or is it the stuff we have for the theme tune?
No, it's the Sirens. It's called The Birds. It's a track called The Birds on Sirenscape. Yeah, it's
so weird.
I heard it on my TV and it's kind of in the background. And I was like, why do I know that? That's very familiar.
It's like Tiger King has notoriously great taste in music. So if you heard his so that's
maybe he'll write a theme song for us once he's, I haven't seen the end, so maybe he's still in prison. Who knows? Don't spoil it for me. I won't spoil it for you. Oh no, I spoiled some of it for you.
I didn't know.
Get me out of here, Wes. Wes, do Community Corkboard. Stop me talking.
Yeah, a quick distraction of Community Corkboard. This week, it's just D&D Dublin, who are still doing the Lord's work and teaching people how to play this wonderful, wonderful game we're all addicted to. And they're not letting social isolation stop them. So if you want to learn how to play D&D, and for once, it doesn't matter if you're in Dublin or not, you can hop along to their Discord channel where they are running games to teach people and just get people to play. You can find the details for that on their meetup page. So just search for D Dublin or any variation thereof, and you'll find them. Really, really nice crowd, very helpful. And there are lots of people that have always wanted to play D&D and don't know how or whatever. This is the best way to do it. It's how I initially learned how it works. Would recommend. Go look them up.
Thanks, Wes. Now back to you in the studio. Now, without further ado, grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair, as we dive into a world where anything is possible, but not always probable. Welcome back to the realm of Hibernia. Yes, this one-shot is taking place in Hibernia. Who knows when, who knows where? Well, I know those things. But for dramatic effect, who knows when, who knows where. This is separate to the main campaign. While we're all streaming remotely from home, we're kind of parking Huck's Punk's adventures because we want that to always just be happening where Keelan is. You might recognize his virtual background is a real background. It's his house that we normally stream from. Right. Imagine.
Oh, yes, this is just a regular Tuesday for you, Keelan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With a lot less
nothing has
annoying
changed at
people
all.
around.
But somehow you're all still in my house.
We're still bothering you.
Who knows how long we'll be doing these for, but we're going to do as many one-shots and fun little adventures as we can, keep the show going, and still, it's kind of our excuse to meet up and have some beers and catch up and chat and stuff, so, and hopefully enjoy that too, and our excuse to meet up with you guys out there in the chat world, and the VOD world, if you're watching on YouTube. Right. Imagine, if you will, 4 Wanderly wagons cresting a hillside in the mid-east of Hibernia, making their way towards an idyllic valley town, somewhere in the proximity of Crystal Lake. It's nearing the crack of dawn, and just before the sun peaks its sleepy head above the horizon, we see the wagons pull off to the side of the road, hitch their horses, and climb into the back to rest. It's exhausting, riding all night long. Hours before, the town was abuzz with traditional music, culture, celebrations, the hallmarks of the annual bardic competition known as the Vlaaaa. With all this revelry afoot and a further 3 days of celebrations ahead, drunken crowds make it easy pickings for the creatures of the night. And back at the wagons, just before they get their day's rest, we catch a glimpse of these 4 supernaturally sexy adventurers. They're on the hunt for pints, crack, and most of all, blood. After all, it's their kind who named this celebration way back in the beginning, a ruse to gather the herd. Welcome to the Vlaaaa! Yes, as with all things homebrew, the dumb name came first, and then we wrote the adventure for it. So everyone should have their vampire name, I believe, in the overlay. So why don't we start with Wes, and if you could describe your general appearance. And I'm going to answer, I'll go Wes, Gav, Keelan, Lucy. And if you can answer these questions as you're describing yourself. So I'll read all the questions to give you time to think.
Cool.
So Wes, your vampire has picked up a nickname while traveling with these other 3. What is it and why? Gavin, what's something the party doesn't know about your character? Keelan. Oh no, you can. Yeah, you can do it. Keelan, aside from your love of blood, what are 3 things you have in common with the others? And Lucy, of all your companions, whose life would you save if you had to, and why? So, Wes, if you want to introduce your vampire and sum up in that, I think these questions will give us a better sense of who you are, more so than like classic adventuring clothes.
It's a very cool idea. Okay, so I am playing Lady Perlenbacker. She is a tiefling oathbreaker paladin. She was a paladin of devotion in life, but got turned into a vampire and has forsaken her oath. But she comes from quite an upper class background. She's very snooty and well-to-do and doesn't like getting her hands dirty. And she usually, the vampire trait she'd use most is manipulating people to do things on her behalf. And because of her aversion to manual labor or hard work in general, she's earned the nickname as the Damsel. She's just kind of not known for being super self-sufficient. She kind of always needs someone else, although she'd be loath to admit it. Yeah, I suppose visually. I never go with visuals. She's kind of like a misty blue complexion, kind of short horns and then like flowing white locks. Surprisingly well-maintained plate armor and a dark green cloak wrapped around her, and a huge greatsword on her back. That's Perlenbacker, aka the Damsel.
Onwards to, I believe, Fox Roxair?
Fox Roxair. I see a rock, I say a rock. If you were to look at Fox Roxair, you would see a small gnome with kind of grey, almost translucent skin, sort of thin, almost to the point of starvation, and desperately seeking the attention and the gaze of Lady Perlenbacker. He is laid down with kind of pouches and straps and everything, and has some like scientific-looking goggles on his head because he is an artificer. So, when Lady Perlenbacher was bitten by a vampire, as the damsel requires other people to do things for her, Fox Rocksayer was chosen as her minion, so sort of sidekick. And his goal is to do everything to enhance the reputation, the glory of Lady Perlenbacher.
Ooh.
Fantastic. And Fox Rocksayer, is there a beer you got your name from?
Fox's Rock. I was going to be
nice.
Fox Says Rock, but then I was like, wait, Fox Rocksayer.
Nice.
Lovely. Swartz von Beer, which is Keelan, I believe. Can you describe your general appearance and then the 3 things you have in common?
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, first, I've named myself after the Schwartz beer that you were always talking about, you and Gav. I'm finally getting a chance to try it, and it's delicious. So Schwartz von Beer, I look a bit like him now with my hair. This was purposeful and not anything else. See, he's a vampire, so he can't see his own reflection, so he has no idea what he looks like, and thus does not care, which is probably the first thing he shares in common with everyone else. He was a halfling ranger way back when, but now he's a vampire. So he's kind of gone with a mix where he basically looks like your classic Dracula vampire, cape and everything, but the inlay isn't red; it's like red tartan, because he's a hunter. So and then like proper stocky boots rather than whatever vampires generally wear as boots, because he's a halfling as well. He's a little shorter than your average vampire. But that's it. Oh, he has a raven that he hangs around with all the time, which I guess I'll call crap. I should have thought of this. Let's call him Dungarvan.
That's a good name.
Or Mahon.
Oh.
Mahon Falls.
Oh, yeah.
Dungarvan's nice.
Dungarvan. Okay, Dungarvan the Raven. I've had him a long time, since I was a smaller ranger, non-vampire person. I don't know why it's survived so long.
Smaller, ranger, younger, faster, stronger.
Yeah, all of those things, and that's the 3 things I have in common. No, what I have in common with the group is we all can't see our appearances, so we don't give a shit. Me probably more than others, but we also don't really care about humans at all. Treat them like cattle, basically. And this is just going to be a good crack. That's what we're walking into. So we're all looking forward to that. And then, Christ, what else? Just general abandon. That's what we all have. We're basically just we don't care at all. View ourselves as immortal, and we're gonna fuck shit up.
What's Schwartz's main weapon? What's he got in his back?
That's a good question. He has 2 sickles, which he probably won't use at all because he's not very good at using them, and a rapier. He's a duelist, or he was a duelist. Now he just likes to get into duels for show, mostly. Probably then as well.
It's a good visual.
Yeah, but duelists get into duels for show, I presume. That's the only reason.
Oh yeah, it's showing.
It's a very showy form of fight,
I'm also
surely
picturing...
2 reasons.
What?
For a duelist to yeah. There's 2 reasons for a duelist to get involved: show and love of the jewel.
So it's dual reasons.
And yet they don't dual wield.
Smithix, why don't you introduce your character, and of all your companions, who would you save if you had to?
Yeah, my character is a wily female halfling called Smithix. Don't know why I haven't called any character Smithix yet. Classic, but before she was turned into a vampire, she was mad for the goss. Like, she was pretty nosy. And she was sired by a bunch of kind of storytelling bard vampires who her power is that she gets the knowledge from people, which can be used for, maybe strategic planning, but she's just very nosy and likes to know people's secrets, and then extort them and blackmail them, etc. Like the inside of her wagon looks like sort of one of those newsrooms with all the pictures and the red string and everything, and so as far as who she would save in the party, I think Schwartz von Beer. I think he's quite a wild one, and she likes that he can be a bit of a what's the word? Was it deflection? No, distraction.
Sash hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where then she can maybe, oh, isn't that terrible, etc. Yeah.
Nice. So to fill the audience in on what their goal is, before the show, I kind of sent them a quick little synopsis. Essentially, they have 3 days to sort of infiltrate the Vlaaaa, the host town of the Vlaaaa, and to feed and get out without anyone noticing. That's kind of it's a heist for blood. So you all wake to the pitter patter of rain against your wagons, and down in the valley below you can hear music and laughter drifting up through the air. Festivities are ramping up now that the sun has dipped below the horizon. You make yourself a cup of joe. He was a nice guy. Notice your blood supplies are a little low, and you'll need to feed fresh. You'll need to get a fresh feed sometime in the next few days. There's no immediate rush. The night, as they say, is yours. Is there anything you'd like to do before setting off? Your wagons at the moment are just a little bit on the outskirts of town. You didn't pull directly into the village itself.
Will we formulate a plan?
Yes.
Who needs a plan? Just walk
Get
in there, kill the humans,
drink the blood.
Yeah, it's very simple.
But how can we maximize our blood intake is really the key here, I think.
I think you kill
bring a bottle
as possible.
Is there somewhere that we could like bar the door? This sounds so evil, but bar the doors and just murder them all from within. Is that allowed?
Yeah, I mean, they'll mostly all be inside pubs, right? This is the Vlaaaa after all.
Yeah. We can use their instruments to like cram into the doors and lock the doors, maybe. And then as they're being broken through, that might make sweet music for us.
I mean, I'm so glad that we added in lock-ins as a tradition, so they do it themselves.
This might be contrary to all of these plans, but what if we were to pick them off one by one, subtly at the party, so they couldn't escape and try and bar those doors open? We could drink them piece by piece.
Amazing, mistress. Oh, brilliant, constantly amazing.
Yes,
I agree. Piece by piece. Yes, we get them out of the lock-in on their own and then pounce.
Why can't one of you come up with ideas like my good boy Fox here?
Because we're not all beholden to you.
Well,
but you're beholden. You're beholden to the idea that you are not as beholden as. Shut up. That's what I say to you. Shut up.
Yeah. Good job. Great work.
Boys, you're both beholden to me. There's room for everybody. Now let's get some blood for these beholden boys.
So we going in and killing everyone just immediately?
No, I think do you want to try and how should we suck them out of the rooms? Pubs even.
Well, we're outside town, right? We're not actually in the town yet.
No.
No.
So
I think which one of us is good at kind of performing, deceiving, kind of that sort of thing? Because if we could make a ruckus outside one of the public houses, we could get one of the people to come and check what's happening, and then the strongest one, Lady Perlenbach, and the damsel, my glorious queen, could chop their heads off or something. I don't know.
Oh, so she gets to have all the fun. How about
yes,
we just set fire to the town?
I do a very good impression of a fortune teller because I just by touching them they have to tell me their secrets. So I can possibly trick them in that fashion.
Well, how about we use that to what if we get closer to town, you perform your little party parlor trick on one of the guards and get some information we can use?
Lovely. Let's do it.
It'd be more
Let's do it your way.
Sounding more like me.
I forgot that voices were a thing there. Last time, all I had was a voice. Now I'm like, I
Oh,
forgot.
you were more voice than anything else. It was fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah.
I believe your exact quote was, "It's more volume than an accent."
Yeah.
And now this
It's a
week,
tactic
I
too.
forgot either of those things. So here we go.
There's still time. You can workshop it.
Yeah,
not?
it'll come to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so you set off towards this town. The town doesn't have a name.
Ooh.
I have
I'm no help
elevation.
because I literally just brought Perlenbacker, so I'm no help for names this week.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
also all Smithix here. Yeah.
Fox's Rock aren't particularly inventive, so we could call it American style.
Are we
let's
invading
American
America?
style town.
No, we'll be taken down off Twitch.
I've got well, we could call it Mahon Falls, seeing as we didn't use that. I've got a Larkin.
Oh,
Perfect.
Seems like a lovely town to murder and
yeah, Man Falls.
That's
Certainly
actually
will
on one of the
after we're
signs
there.
on the way in.
Yeah. It's good foreboding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Says
You
the man
you
with
make
a
your way
raven on
towards
his
the town.
shoulder.
What was the name of it? Mahon Falls.
Man Falls.
Yeah.
Mahon
Lovely,
Falls.
lovely, lovely. Ooh, shoot, we got some suggestions from chat, and I wasn't quick off the draw. Sorry,
yeah.
chat. Keep them firing in, and I will look this direction and check in on you, lovely, lovely little duggies. Right, you make your way down towards the town, and you see swinging on a wooden sign, Mahon Falls. No sound of a waterfall nearby, but there is the sound of rushing water. And as you, the town itself is cut by a bow in a river. So on the east and west side, there is a river that cuts through and kind of loops around and then back down at both the east and west entrances. You're coming in from the east, and you see on the town outskirts, there are clusters of wagons and tents. Sort of temporary campsites are constructed to accommodate the increased town population during the festivities. The town itself seems to be kind of contained. There's no town walls by any means. The river provides natural sort of defenses against any of the wilds of Hibernia. There are a few guard posts. So as you're approaching sort of what would be considered the start of Main Street, you do see a guard post, and they seem to be checking villagers coming in from the campsite before letting them into the town itself. You know from previous Vlaaas you've been to, usually there's just sort of random performances in the streets. People just kind of kick off in little sessions, but there is one main bandstand area where bards are competing, playing, trying to become champion of the Vlaaaa, which I'm pretty sure is not the real name of the real award they give you in Ireland. Should have had that top of mind when writing an adventure entirely based on a real cultural festival that we have here in Ireland. And you approach this entrance to the town, and you sort of get into a line behind other revelers. Smell of ale in the air. You can hear the playing of music, both from the campsite and in the town itself. Seems to be the drumming of barons, the shrill of a fiddle. Some poor kid, pure concentration, just like nailing something on a tin whistle. It's just, they're more concentration than they are musical talent, as is wont in every Vlaaaa. And a few people are just kind of dancing alongside it and singing as well. And as you make your way up to this guard, they stop you and go, "Oh, hello. Just before you go in, I just need to check any bags or anything you might have on you before you bring it in. Understandably, we can't have you bringing in outside booze. You need to get that in the food and drink stalls or in the pubs itself. No open containers in the streets." And you can see even behind the guard, there's plenty of open containers in the streets. It seems like something they take off you here, and immediately you can just take out another can, should you wish. So if you wouldn't mind, could I get your names and sort of purpose and duration of your stay? I mean, and you look at his sheet, you don't even need to make a perception check. It's always just crack, 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 banter, crack.
August
All the
Kill?
purposes. August Kill. Reraw August Rula Bula is the purpose of everyone's trip here.
Yeah.
And who would be, if you had a marching order, who would be first in line?
I would be trying to shake his hand right away. So I want, if I can, I would want to reach out, shake his hand, take it with my other hand, and sort of say, "Oh, thank you for your work here. I am Mary, and I'm here for the crack."
Yes, and you have to say Mary just like that. I'm Peter.
Yeah.
I'll be up there shaking his hand, patting him on the back as well.
Smithix,
like a fresh young thing.
roll a deception check.
Okay, I can do that. This is the first time using digital dice. Okay. 20, not natural.
Oh, nice. The guard's eyes, squints a little at you and goes, Mary, okay. Here for the correct. And if you wouldn't mind, anything in your pockets, if I can just pad you down. And Smithix, if you don't mind me asking, you might have mentioned at the start, is Smithix a man or a woman or a non-binary character?
She's a small halfling female with very curly blonde hair. And do I sense anything when I touch his hand there?
Well, here's a question for you. Do you want to use your vampire superpower on this guard? In which case, for the rest of the night, when you use it again, you will have to roll for it? Or would you rather roll for it now? Because you get one kind of free use of your vampire superpower. I've given the players all sort of classic vampire weaknesses and classic vampire strengths. And they get to pick one out of anything.
I forgot that. Yeah, I probably, never mind. Fuck this guy and his backstory. Never mind. Yeah, don't want to hear. I don't think I can blackmail him very efficiently. So never mind.
And just as your hand releases from
as I grasp his hand, I get a sense that he's a dull man, and I don't even try and read his mind. Yeah.
That's my job, but okay.
How limp his handshake is. You're like, not worth it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know as soon as you get the handshake.
He gives a quick check on your body. Is there anything on you that might be suspect? Like, what kind of equipment are you currently carrying?
I have a dagger, and a short bow and a rapier. Yeah, I don't have anything weird though. Yeah.
Any cans?
Any cans? No, I don't. I'm not drinking.
Go on in, enjoy the crack there, Mary. Who is next? We can just kind of fire through this if you don't want to spend all your time talking to the one guard. Actually, sorry, Mary, before you walk in, what was your vampire weakness?
My vampire weakness is basically liquids in general. I'm like holy water, but amplified. All water, but also I'm afraid general alcohol could have some water in it, so I just avoid the old liquids.
And this is a trick question, so I'll let you know. Would the rushing water of a river count in all water?
Well, I'm not going to swim through it.
No, but you are passing over it, and given that you're more susceptible to all water compared to the other vampire companions you have, I want you to roll a Constitution saving throw while I go through these other vampires. Lady Berlinbacker.
So are we like wincing as we pass over this thing, or as we get close? Like I didn't even consider the river, to be honest.
Oh, you didn't consider any of my devilish traps, my friend.
And I realize now, even before the prep, you did specifically mention that there's a river halfway through the town, and I was like, that's cool, and just never considered that.
Well, in real life, you're not a vampire. Yeah. No, you three are fine because there's a bridge built over this river. Specifically Smithix, as it is one of her
well, I rolled another not natural 20, so I'm gonna walk right down the middle, and I am gonna be like freaked out, but I'm gonna hold strong.
You cross the bridge like you're crossing through one of those illusion room turning tunnels, but you make it to the other side. Your head spins a little bit, but you're grand. Everyone else, presumably you don't have any cans on you. You enter into the town.
You can
hear water skin. Yeah, he takes off the water skin, opens it up. What's in your water skin?
I would say it's probably straight vodka.
Oh.
Not blood.
Yeah. As soon as he takes it off me, though, I've completely lost interest. It's like, you can throw it away, darling. I don't care. It's not mine anymore. It's yours. Enjoy it. And then I'm gonna walk past him.
As an alchemist, I'd probably have quite a bit of things that he could take off me.
Yeah.
But as he does so, I'd like to prestidigitate that they smell just like water, or something that he would let us away.
Absolutely. Make a deception check as well.
Oh, I'm bad at that.
Can't be as bad as what I got.
It can. So it's it's a 5 plus -1. It's a 4.
You get the feeling that, given Lady Berlinbacker's very strong water skin full of vodka, his nostrils are burnt off. So as he tries to check yours, it's just pure. There's still the taste and smell of vodka in the air. So he he believes you and goes, "Oh, I'm sure they're fine. Go on in."
Okay.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for in this town, or is it just kind of a wander through the streets?
I'm trying to see if anyone looks particularly tasty. Like, are there any blood-filled looking people?
Make a
What about that
perception
guy?
check.
Oh, he's too fat, darling. It's too fatty. It wouldn't go down
You're looking.
smoothly.
You're looking for bloody. I can make them bloody for you.
Sorry. Sorry. What was the check?
Perception.
Perception. That is an 11.
Yeah, you're pretty sure everyone here has a significant amount of blood inside them. Blood
Okay,
and pus.
good.
Wow, you're a pro.
The flying start.
A question for my mistress. Do we need to worry about alcohol and thinning the blood or corrupting the blood or anything? Do we need to find someone who's a bit more compos mentis, as it were?
Yes, once again, you've done your best to ensure that my meals are as perfect as they should be. Thank you so much, Fox. You're absolutely right. Let's try and find someone who's a little bit sober, a little bit less messy. And if they're too drunk, we'll tie them up and wait for them to sober up, and we'll drink them, we'll guzzle them all back. And of course, you'll get the entrails, and you've earned that much. You can sup from the same cup I've enjoyed, as has so long been your custom.
Oh, the thought is giving me shivers.
Is there any Ben? Are there any people around? Like, I'd love to see like a couple having a fight, maybe outside a bar. Anyone that I think we could try and try and pit them against each other and pull them down in a dark alley.
Yeah, let's do a devilish round of perception. Actually, I'll toss it over to you guys. Perception, just to get a general sense of the town. Investigation, if you want to find, for example, like a good dark alley or something particular. So, Smithix, you might be investigation. Everyone else, dealer's choice. And in this case, you're the dealer.
Yeah, I'll help as well. Can I use my raven to do a quick flyby? I probably should do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, roll with advantage.
Cool.
I do a separate investigation or use the same as before? Perception, probably use the same one. I was looking around like.
Yeah, I would have counted yourself, Lady Perlenbacher, in that general sense. Yeah. You were looking for blood, and you found there will be a lot of blood.
I was looking for blood in all the right places.
And I got a 14. 14. Cool. I'm looking for a general revelry.
I got a 5. So.
Good to know.
I got a 16, looking for people who are alone and that no one would miss. If you can tell that, it's investigation, so I should be able to tell that.
Yes, yeah. You wander through the crowds. As with every Hibernian town, it is overrun with pubs, and you all notice that all the shop fronts, they have little bells that hang out front, presumably a way for customers to let the shopkeeper know that they're there. You are on the main street, so there is a majority of shops, taverns, inns. There's clusters of buskers playing a variety of jigs and reels. There we go. There's sideshows happening all along the street side. There's sessions kicking off as two bards cross paths and jam in together. You see like kids just like trying their best just to jam out the thing they've learned just a week previous, just for any sort of copper or silver or anything that people might toss their way. There is specific entertainment for kids in the more populated areas like this main street, those old enough to stay out or parents drunk enough that they don't care where their kids are. It's like every year at the Vlaaaa. Few of the younger kids, they're definitely kicking up a tantrum. They've been brought out way past their bedtime and they are not happy that mom and dad, it's another day at the pub for this family. So Smithix, that might be like, you can tell there's some couples with kids arguing about, oh Jesus, John, can we just go home? The kids are really driving me demented. Mary, it's the Vlaaaa, and it's only our 4th night out in a row at the Vlaaaa. There's another 3 to go. And so that argument's happening. You do see 2 teenagers just meeting the face off each other, kind of near a dark alley. And your inherent sense makes you think you don't have to go up to touch them. They shouldn't be. There's something, they're not exclusive maybe, or like one of them's in a relationship with someone else. You don't know. Ooh. That could kick off. And your general kind of vampire radar is like, I think their boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or something might be like, oh, they might be on their way down. They could catch this. Lonely people, yeah, there's one lad like ossified, and he's just sort of head in hands, just trying to keep his equilibrium together. You get the feeling that he's been there long enough that the friends tried to sit with them, sober them up, but then just kind of went, you know yourself, the crack just takes you away. There is opportunity. The opportunity you see as you kind of, that was a pretty good perception and investigation all around. Couple of friends are, as they head home, are kind of peeling off from groups. There's a couple of Kayleys kicking off, plenty of partners kind of intermingling, which is causing its own sort of atmosphere of gossip. There are a few side alleys. Actually, I think for chat, they can see the map up on our Twitch stream as we speak. That little red flag on the right-hand side of that map is the campsite. All the little black boxes, they're guard houses. And as you're kind of making your way through the town of Mahon Falls, 4 of these pubs in particular take your interest. I mean, there's pubs everywhere, but you're kind of like, okay, these might be our hit spots, given the conversation you were having earlier. Plenty of little side alleys and side streets, though some of them, if you're not careful, could bring you closer to the river, and they mightn't necessarily have a bridge crossing over them. So you might have to traverse through running water, which for you, Smithix, would be instantly turning to dust. For the rest of you, oh boy, it's not nice. It's like swimming through, what's bad for humans? Acid? Lava? You might you might actually have to Dante's Peak Smithix through the water.
Oh, that movie.
You've got a pretty good sense of the town. But it did take you like a couple of hours have passed now. So the streets are beginning to thin. If it was around 8 o'clock in the evening when you first arrived, now it's coming up to that lovely, delicious time between like 11:30 and maybe 3 a.m. You're just not sure. You're having so much fun. But it's on the closer side to 11:30 at night, which in Hibernia we know doesn't exist. But for this one shot, hey, it's the Vlaaaa. Anything's possible.
Yeah, they add an extra hour, just daylight savings time, just for the Vlaaaa.
Yeah.
Daylight savings, it's a standard 24-hour day.
Yeah.
That's actually ingenious for vampires to set up. Put the clocks for delay sunrise by somehow to give yourselves a longer night. So yes, that is canon.
Okay.
All right, guys. So what are we doing? You want to lure some people out? We're saying you don't want me to start a bloodbath right now.
Not right now, no, but eventually, yes.
See that guy over there? Did I see the guy who was really drunk, who was just holding his head?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. See that guy over there? How about we just mess with him? Can I try to make him feel like the world is spinning a lot more?
More than it is.
Yeah. Is that a class ability that you have, or are you trying to use the vampire ability?
Vampire ability, but not like my
hurdy-gurdy?
of it. Yeah, well, just like controlling their kind of minds a bit, and basically just fucking with him in his head, messing with his head. Vampires have kind of influence ability.
Yeah, it's more like a charm or like a mind domination. But we can say yours is like illusionary. It's a bit like the spell Phantasmal Force.
Sure.
And then Lady Perlenbacker's can be more in the entrancing side of things.
That works.
Yeah. So would you all like to do that? Just free roll? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I don't think I'll use a special ability on just getting a drunk guy to be more drunk. 15.
15? Yeah, 15's enough. You see him heave a little and then try to clamber into a dark, kind of like a side alley just beside some bins, and all you hear is never again. And they're just like streams of vomit coming out of this guy's.
Do you like when your dinner does this before you consume it?
Hey, look,
toxins. It makes
I'm detoxing. Yeah, I'm on a detox at the moment.
How far is that dark alley?
Kind of not far enough. Like not far enough if you're a superhero that you'd be safe to change into your costume, but far enough that like away from the crowds and out of trouble. But what is your passive perception, Fox Rock say?
11.
11. You get the feeling, but it's a little bit further down the main street, that this has caught the attention of some of the town's guards, given that like they had an eye on him earlier. They were sort of leaving him be, but now he's moved. There was a little bit of a what's that word? Not conundrum. Kerfuffle?
Kerfuffle? Yeah.
Altercation.
Yeah.
I'd like to cast disguise self on myself to make myself appear the garb of a guard.
Cool. So you might have cracked out a little bit for me, but you're using disguise self to look like a guard.
Yeah, disguise self to look like a guard on myself.
And are you doing this in the open?
I'm going in. Yeah, good question.
It was a leading question, but
yeah, I'm going a little bit into the alley so that the guards up ahead couldn't see me.
Mm-hmm.
But like other people around could see me, but they're drunk, they're having fun. What are they doing?
Absolutely. And you've gotten actually roll me a quick investigation check with advantage, because I presume like this move, probably something you've done before. Just how much detail you took in from the first guard you met.
That's a 15.
Yeah, that's enough detail. You get like, you mightn't get exactly where the numbers and identification is, but you're in the same color, you're in the same cut. Is there any particular guard you're trying to look like, or just classic country guard, mustache and all?
Classic country guard, mustache and all.
And the rest of you three, you see Fox's Rock just sort of almost like an amazing cinematic movie cut, just walk past someone in the crowd and come out the other side completely different. It almost looks like Fox's Rock has disappeared. Sorry, Fox Rocksayer has disappeared, and a guard has just appeared in front of you. But you've seen Fox do this before, the wily vampire that he is.
And he's really short.
So you're almost certain.
It's always a pleasure to
you
watch
can
him play.
get a little bit taller, a little bit shorter, I think, with disguise self.
I think you have to stay the same size, but you change like kind of.
I think there's a bit of wiggle room. I think you can appear one size larger if you need to, but the actual space isn't occupied. There's something.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Then I'd like to appear average fantasy guard size, and I'll shout down to the. I'll shout down to the guards. Are like, I got this one. Don't worry about it.
All right.
I'm an immigrant into Hibernia.
I'm an Anglo.
I don't know if you saw that in my brain thinking away there, but yeah, make a deception check or I'm gonna say deception because it's a small town. They probably know everyone on the force.
Can I whisper into Fox's ear? Like, why don't we get? Can we get those guards down this alleyway too? I mean, they look like they taste delicious. So
yes, they probably do. That was an unnatural one, so I'd like to turn to Smithix and say, well, yes, I think we should bring them down here. And you know what? I think that prey is most delicious when it's suspicious.
I'm gonna shout to those guards. I'm gonna shout to the guards and say, please help, there's a man in need here. And I'm gonna beckon them over towards us into the alley and rush them down the alley with us and bring them further down the alley if I can.
Absolutely. Schwartz and Lady Perlenbacher, what is your role in this debacle?
Well, I'm immediately game, so I'm following them down the alleyway. Yeah. Finally you listen to some reason.
I'm gonna let Mr. Rocksayer work, trusting that he knows exactly what he's doing, but keeping him like within my eye line if he needs help. But I'm just gonna start flirting with the most delicious, like bloody delicious looking person nearby, and like kind of playing with my hair and trying to look like, you here?
It's another it's another.
I don't want to look like I'm involved with what's going on, but want to be ready to jump in.
Yeah, you're chatting away to, you kind of integrate yourself with one of the groups that are standing in the crowds listening to a musician, and you wander up and start flirting away with another tiefling. Similar shade of blue skin. but healthier looking, almost as if they're full of blood.
Perfect. That's exactly.
And the three of you run down into the alley.
How many guards are coming after us, Ben?
Good question. I wrote down some. I wrote down some stuff here. I have to roll some dice. You have ooh fuck 10 guards.
What?
I was sure you said 2 guards. You said 2 guards saw you go. Okay, never mind.
10 guards sounds good to me.
I said 2 guards when nothing was suspicious. And then a random guard who's not from this town appeared, and someone said, "Help, there's trouble." So I'm kind of dealing with what I got here.
That's fair. That's fair.
I wrote down 1d6 plus 1d4 for number of guards. Originally it was 2d6, but a 6 and a 4 is 10 guards and 1 drunken commoner.
The benefit to playing online for the first time ever is I can actually keep one eye on chat. And as soon as you said that, I just saw TPK appear in the chat.
Well, Lady Perlenbacher might have a solo session.
Yeah. Let's just all watch her flirt with everyone. It's be great.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll
TPK.
get involved if things go real bad.
That's teeth prepared and for the kill.
Preparing for the kill. Okay.
Tooth bite kill.
Tooth bite kill. Knowing that there's 10 guards now coming after us, I'd like to cast grease in the alleyway.
Ooh.
Grease lightning
behind us. Grease lightning. Yeah. Slick grease covers the ground in a 10-foot square centered on a point within range. It turns into difficult terrain. When it appears, each creature in the area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall prone.
Lovely. Give me 1 second. Everyone, so the guards run in. You see some of the guards pull back just to kind of do some civic duty, as in like nothing to see here, move along, just and they're trying to move some of the bards down. They're not necessarily involved in this encounter, but they are there and can get involved should needs be. Leaving you with 7 other guards. Let me just type that in real quick. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 on reserve. I'm using just D&D guard stats, so who knows? And 1 drunken commoner. 7 of them run in, and we're going to roll initiative right before they hit that grease.
Okay.
So if everyone can tell me their initiative. Lady Perlenbacher, you might as well roll in. Yeah.
What was that?
That's Gav missing dearly his rogue. 20
I've got
to
1
25?
initiative.
20 to 25? No one? 15 to 20?
17.
17. Nice. Boom. 10 to 15?
11.
11.
That's with a minus.
And then we have 5 to 10?
9.
9.
I wish.
Cool. And Gav.
Wow.
On 1? Cool.
3.
3. Cool. Great. Smithix, you are up first, but we'll go through the surprise round that Fox Rockslayer has on these guards. So they need to make a dexterity saving throw?
Yeah.
All right. Let me roll a bunch of... So what is their dex? 3 fails. 4 fails. 10? What's your spell save DC?
My spell save DC is 13.
Cool. Fails. 1 passes. 2 passes. That's a 4th fail. So 2 fails, or 4 fails, 2 successes. The last one fail. So only 2 of the guards have succeeded. The other 5 are... What's the effects of grease?
If they fail, they fall prone. Regardless of whether they fail or not, it's still difficult terrain, which, Wes, you might be able to back me up here.
Half your speed.
Half their speed.
Cool.
So
they are... they are they're kind of stopped. That has stopped them at the end of their movement at the edge of the grease. 5 of them in comic style slip on what they can only assume is Vlaaaa vomit.
And some of it probably is. Suck it.
Yeah. Well, some of it definitely is that commoner.
Yeah.
So Smithix, you are up first. You have 5 guards prone on their ass in a pool of grease. 2 of them trying to skate their way through.
And am I close to any of them? They're coming towards us, are they?
Mm-hmm. You can be. You can move closer towards them.
Like, would I be getting on the grease if I do that?
No, the 2 that made it through the grease are at the edge of said grease.
Okay.
Are they still within the grease though?
I'd say the 2 that succeeded have made their way just to the edge of the grease, so their movement in this alley for the mine stuff won't be affected. But the others will be struggling to get to. Well, they've used half their movement to get up and half their movement to get out of the grease. So consider those in the grease.
So I don't know how vampire abilities work in this like fast thing. I do want to stab this guy, but I also want to like put a hand on his neck and like kind of intuit if there's any sort of colleague rivalry among these 7 guys. What the sort of is it possible to kind of do that skill? Sorry.
So you've said either stab him or get some guts.
Well, I was hoping to do them at the same. Like, so I'm going to go to the guy as I'm going to hold his neck to try and I'm going to use my vampire power to try and suck all the goss out of his not yet lifeless body.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to just be trying to just slip a dagger in as I go. What's that? That's what I want.
Okay. You look. I get it. You've only been playing D&D for 20 odd episodes. Both of those are actions. So
okay,
to attack
it's
an action.
The
vampire abilities
is a new action. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not a bonus action. Sorry, what class are you playing actually? We just went with vampires.
I'm a rogue, but I don't know anything about rogues. So you know.
All right. Gav, while we do the secret goss suction, have a think in your brain. Rogues, can they attack with their bonus action if they haven't attacked with their main action?
If they haven't attacked, no. Their bonus action is dash, disengage, and hide.
Okay, I'm fine not attacking because they don't know yet that I'm evil in any way. So I'm just gonna hold this guy by the neck and just like look in his eyes and just like try to suck out anything juicy.
Yeah, and you're using your kind of vampire freebie for today to this. Cool. How do you imagine this happens? Do you think like eyes mist over? Do you think like they mutter their secrets under their breath? Like, is there some flavor?
No. It all comes to, they don't know that they're telling me. They don't know that I know. It's all just suddenly in my mind. I'm suddenly like, oh, you think that he is a shit boss, or like it all just kind of comes to me in my mind.
You learn a couple of things in this brief moment. You learn that this particular guard, who we'll just call Guard A, one of the guards on the ground in the grease, that's their best friend, and like they joined the force together. They grew up in the town together. And one of the guards, who we'll call Guard B, is their rival. Actually, the reason they made it through the grease is they're so competitive that like when one of them was almost going to do it, the next one was like, oh, they're like Gary and Ash. Like that's their deal. You get a couple of secrets. The best friend, he has a sneaking suspicion that his best friend is in love with his wife. He's never been able to prove it.
Oh, okay.
It's a Jesse's girl sort of situation.
And how's the marriage?
The marriage, you think as well. They had a rocky period in the beginning, but who doesn't?
This is all very useful for my attack.
You also learn there's a sense of like this guard thinks he was the best in the force, but there's a new guy in town, this vampire hunter called Van Morrison Helsing.
Okay.
And you've heard about this person before.
So that's for vampires, scare me a bit.
It's more myth and legend than real person. You've always just heard like, oh well, if you're going to the Vlaaaa, watch out for Van Morrison Helsing. They're gonna get you. They're a vampire hunter.
Okay, so when I hear that, I'm probably gonna kind of go, oh, and like drop the guy a little bit and take a few steps back, and that's the end of my turn, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. The guard will get a attack of opportunity if you leave their space. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Cool. I presume a 7 doesn't hit. What's your armor class?
A 14.
Yeah, so the guard tries to sort of go, whoa, and they're not really trying to attack because they're guards, but they are trying to like get you kind of just hit you in some way to stop you moving away, but they miss. Next up is our commoner. who uses all of his on-the-ground movements just to crawl away from this shame further and deeper into the alley. Which brings us to Lady Perlenbacher. You've seen these guards swarm into the alleyway. You've seen a couple of them stay around and tried to disperse the crowd you're a part of. And you got a fair sense. You've traveled with these vampires before. Shit is kicking off in this alleyway.
You've muted yourself.
Oh, yes. Yes, sorry, Lady Perlenbacher.
Yes, I am
the
muted.
high courts of vampire lore.
I was actually going for that kung fu movie delay. I felt this stream was missing.
Classic mime vampire, you know?
First of all, I want to kill him. And then I'll slit his throat. Okay, sorry. How far away am I from this kerfuffle?
You're about 15 feet. You're not too far. Well, actually, they've moved a little bit into it. There's grease in the way, though.
Between me and them?
Yeah, the grease is at the entrance of the alleyway.
Okay. Can
I will remind you, though, you are a vampire.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I don't want to start racking up my DCs too early because I'm about to burn a card here. Can I get within 30 feet of all of them without crossing the grease?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Then actually, I think this is more fitting in character. I want to stroll up to the edge of the grease, but absolutely not touch the filthy, disgusting grease because ill. And I'm going to throw a very delicate lace handkerchief out in front of me and be like, boys, it's time to run. And then my visage is going to become one of absolute horror, gaunt, dark red glowing eyes. I'm going to cast Dreadful Aspect using my channeled divinity, which is an Oathbreaker ability.
Obviously, I know as an experienced GM what that does, but for the audience.
So I get to use these once per long rest. I'm channeled divinity, use one of two abilities. So Dreadful Aspect is one action. I channel my darkest emotions and focus them into a burst of magical menace. Each creature of my choice within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw. If they can see me and they fail, they are frightened of me for 1 minute.
Wow.
That's basically it. Yeah, if they succeed, nothing happens. But I'm trying to make them all terrified of me.
And what is the DC? Sorry, you might have mentioned it there.
I should have that lined up. Is 13, which is worryingly low.
And it's a wisdom saving throw?
Charisma. Oh yeah, sorry, wisdom. My spell casting mod is charisma, but it's a wisdom.
First, so this is all 10, actually, all 10 guards, right?
Yeah, everyone within 30 feet that I choose. Oh,
and some villagers. Do you choose the villagers?
Yeah, I want to make a scene. Everyone but my immediate vampy party.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to roll 1 for the general crowd. They got a 13. What's your DC?
13.
They start clapping. Woo! Yeah! They're not too sure if it's part of the performance or not, but they're like, I like this. This is some fucking... Now, this is the Vlaaaa. Now for the guards. Boom. Fail. 4 of them failed. Another 3, so that's 7. One of them got a natural 20, so he's good. 7 failed, so 3 more. Sorry, 2 more. And failed 2. Only 2 of them succeed in your attempt to scare the bejesus out of them. What does your kind of nightmarish visage look like?
I'd say Lady Perlenbacher suddenly sprouts monstrous wings. Looks like she's transforms into a 10-foot tall horrific creature with gaunt limbs and blood dribbling down the side of her mouth and a tongue, kind of like what is that Pokemon? Golbat, the one with the he's all mouth with the legs sticking out the bottom. Basically that, but less cute. And there's a low drone and a scream on top of it.
So the only people to survive this nightmarish scene, which is burnt into their life forever, are 2 of the guards. The 2 most rival guards, because they're one of them's not going to run away without the other one. It's kind of they're not going to move if I don't move. And the crowd, who get a little bit of solace from being a group. They're like, well, no one else seems to be freaking out. a bit of mob mentality. But the other 7, I believe, have to use all of their movement to get away from you. And 3 of them, is it like on their
No,
turn?
they just can't move towards me, and they have disadvantage on attacks against me. I don't think they have to use their action to move away from me.
Okay, cool.
They just can't move towards me. Which, in hindsight, now that I'm saying it, is actually not super duper useful because I'm the other end of the alleyway.
double check that. I think fear, you do have to move away. I could be wrong.
Check.
Yeah, double check.
Maybe,
And in the meantime,
check.
we'll move on to Swartz von Beer. So I'll keep in mind that 7 of these guys, all of the ones in the grease, plus 3 of the ones trying to crowd control, are scared of you. So Schwartz von Beer, it is your turn.
Okay, so I'm at the opening side of the alleyway, right?
You are in the alleyway. I believe you followed the right. You were all game. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I followed suit. So I'm in the alleyway. Do I have to cross the grease or not?
Where are you trying to get to?
Don't know.
Then I can't tell you, buddy.
Yeah, that's a good plan. So if I was Hawk, I'd just set fire to the grease. But I amn't. So I have no fire abilities. So can I, again, try to mess with their minds, illusorily try to make them think that I have set fire to the grease?
Ooh.
Yeah, this will be a higher DC because you're trying to get a group crowd control more so than like one individual's brain.
Cool.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
And use a. Let me quickly look up what phantasmal. What dex, what ability stat it uses. I believe it's a wisdom saving throw, but I'll
Makes sense.
check that. But you roll. Yeah. No, they'll roll. No, it's vampire ability. You roll.
Yeah. I'll roll to see if it works at all.
Yeah.
Ooh. Good thing I'm still a halfling, because that was a natural 1. So I'll use my luck. Good job.
Oh, I forgot that. I'm a halfling.
16. 16.
16.
I don't know what I add for.
Add your intelligence modifier. That's what people use to save against
17.
It, so I'm just going to use 17. Nice. It's difficult. You get the feeling that some of the guards believe you, but some of them don't. And the moment that like they're kind of freaking, they're scared of Lady Perlenbacker. Now they think the grease is on fire. You've definitely rocked their world, but you're not sure the effects of your move just yet. You still have a bonus action and your movement if you want to use them.
Cool. Can I? Yeah. Well, I mean, if I move towards them through the fire, the ones that can perceive the fire, and I'm gonna try to casually walk across the grease towards them. I don't know which ones didn't think there was a fire and which ones do, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm just trying to scare them more.
How many of them do not believe that it's fire?
You get the feeling that 3 of them do not believe, 2 of them do.
Okay, because I looked up frightened, and it turns out they have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of their fear is within line of sight.
Oh, nice.
But oddly, the way we're doing vampire abilities, it's you guys rolling, not me. So let's give Keel an advantage on that roll.
Actually, that does make sense. Fair enough.
Just for fun, it gives you more. You get the agency of going right. Yeah. I'm a vampire. Here we go.
Yeah. So frightened is disadvantage on that, and they can't willingly move closer, but they don't have to. They don't have to move. They can stay put if they want.
Right. My second roll is for 16, so it's not better.
Yeah, 3 and 2. Okay. I'm just doing a quick check on how scared they are. That's great. Cool. So your bonus action, your movement, you want to move through the grease?
Yeah, I want to move across the grease. I'm very confident. Very confident that I'll be fine. I'm just trying to freak out all the ones. I haven't really considered that some of them, the fire hasn't worked on some of them. I'm just trying to freak them out by looking like I'm walking through fire.
Awesome. So Fox Rocksayer, if someone enters the grease area, do they need to make that saving throw? Do they need to make the dex?
If you start around or if you enter it at any point, or if you start your turn in the grease, you need to make that throw.
So Schwartz von Beer, I need you to make a dex saving throw.
Cool. Oh 13. What's my stat? I think I got +4. I think I got 17.
Then yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, then you're good. You confidently walk through this grease, but at half your speed. So you make your way to maybe
That's-
3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, I was
It's-
sauntering
it-
towards them through the fire, it not bothering me. So that was my plan.
Fair. Which brings us on to the guard's turn. Let me just quickly get to them.
Sorry, again, while you're doing that, my eye flicked to chat, and someone has pointed out that Smithix does not have a reflection.
No.
Oh, amazing.
Stop having a reflection, Smithix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Actually, chat. That's a good point for all these vampires. I'm going to give you some vampire tips as we go through the game. Things you'd know as a life as a vampire. It being rainy and pools of water and puddles kind of in the town. If anyone was to look, you guys are not reflecting in those puddles. Nor are you casting shadows. So as you walk through this illusionary fire, there is no shadow being cast by you guys, or at all, because it's illusionary. But hey,
Yeah,
it is
bad
the guard's
example.
turn. Yeah, true. Sorry. That example, it's the guard's turns. The two of the guards, the two that like competing, are going to try stop you, Schwarzbombier, from going any further. They see
try.
you as the messiest and therefore the most threatening and probably the cause of this scuffle.
I'm
So
clearly
they're gonna
dapper.
Go back like
Look at me.
an hour. They both make athletics checks against you. I need you to make a contesting acrobatics or athletics check as well.
Okay. Let's see if
Use that deficit strength modifier.
he gave me acrobatics. So I can try
Yeah.
that. 11.
11. Ooh. One of them tries to get you but misses, but the other one does manage to grab you and hold you in place, stopping your movement any further. The other guards, who are all in the grease, try to stand up, and they do. They successfully stand up. Now they have you surrounded, given that you're all in the grease together. So they're going to try and manticle you and throw you in the old on the old town jail. Wanted 3 stars.
Good luck.
So one of them goes
a recurring theme of correcting Ben, who works so hard in the show. It's manacle.
It is manacled. Yeah.
What did I say? Monticle?
Manticle.
Manticle.
Manticle sounds like an amazing animal, and monticle sounds like if you only had one half of a handcuff, you could wear it as a monticle.
Yeah. A monticle is specifically a one-eye eyeglass that only your dad's brother wears.
Only one of the guards is trying to put cuffs on you. So they actually, I don't know how to do this. I've never cuffed someone before. Let's say they roll with advantage. What is your like resting? Are you resisting arrest?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Give us another acrobatics check there.
Sweet.
Or sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. 17.
17. This card, this is quite, now that I think about it in the scene you've set, they're trying to get their handcuffs from their belt. They are covered in grease. So like slipping off handcuffs. One of the others notice and tries again. They're trying to beat a 17. Again, 2 of the guards not cuffing you. 3 of the guards not cuffing you. 4 of the guards not cuffing you. Aha! The final 5th guard. In this.
Guard E.
Guard E. No. Wait. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Guard E.
Guard E.
Pretty good.
Wait, that's pretty good. Thanks, Ben.
The joke was funny. What a surprise.
Gets those handcuffs on. But you've exhausted all of their turns trying to cuff you. The other 3, the ones who were in the street trying to calm the crowds, they actually did flee. They've run as far as they can back to the nearest guardhouse, having seen this horrible visage of Lady Perlenbacher. That is something, though, in one of them, you've awakened something. Something's actual. You just get the feeling that they're scared, but they're into it.
They're scared of how into it they are.
Yeah. They don't know how to feel, but this is a Fleadh they'll always remember. Which brings us on to Fox. Fox, it is your turn. your good friend Swartz von Beer is handcuffed and surrounded by guards, and two of the others are there.
I'm not worried.
I would like to cast. So he's handcuffed. The handcuffs are on.
Yes, handcuffs are on.
Okay, right. Then the other thing I was going to do won't work. On the guard that handcuffed him, or the guard that looks like they have the firmest grip on Schwartz, I would like to cast Ray of Frost.
Okay.
So where's a D20? So D20, 21.
And what is their... Oh, against their AC? Yeah, that hits.
Against their AC, yeah. A frigid beam of blue-white light streaks across a creature within range. On a hit, it takes 1d8 cold damage. So, here it is. And its speed is reduced by 10 feet. Wow. So it takes 5 damage and speed is reduced by 10 until the start of my next turn.
So this ray of frost shoots out, and almost kind of like you can see the beautiful icicles across the grease just go. It almost knocks this person back, but they kind of get hit. The way they're holding Schwartz, they have their back to you, and unsuspecting, you just smack them right in the back. And one of the guards, you do hear them kind of go, huh? It is Guard B and Guard A. They hate Guard B. So, hey, anything else? You've got a bonus action and movement.
What's near me?
The drunken commoner hasn't gotten far. They're crawling as best they can away down the alley just to kind of hide, but they're not very good at hiding given that they're drunk and loud.
Then I'd like to use my movement to just get closer to the drunken commoner.
Yeah, you can be right on top of them.
Yeah, right on top of the drunken commoner then. And then bonus action, I don't think I can do anything. No, I don't think I can. Yep, I'm done.
Nice. Brings us up to, Smithix. A lot has changed in the last 6 seconds. Your good friend Swartz von Beer, who you have sworn was ever in danger, they would be the life you'd save, has found themselves, literally walked themselves into the center of the guards and immediately got handcuffed. And this cold air blows down the alleyway as you see, in sort of nice minion-esque movements, your friend Fox Rocksayer just kind of scuttle back into the shadows. It is your turn. 3 guards have run down the road towards the guardhouse, presumably, or just into safety. The crowd is not really dispersing yet, but they've turned their attention back towards the musicians playing.
And the guard that is handcuffing him, which guard was that again? Was that guard A,
that is
B?
Guard E. Guard E.
Okay, and is guard A nearby?
Guard A is the other, actually closest to you. Yeah. Guard A was the one you got the secrets from. You've just touched their face.
Is his best mate anywhere nearby?
In the grease pit, but not one of the ones that handcuffed your friend Swartz.
Okay, and did I know anything about his relationship with Guard E?
Yeah, you think you know that he believes Guard E is in love with his wife.
Oh, excellent. Okay, and what's his wife's name?
I don't know if that's gossip or a secret, but for the sake of the show, let's call you don't know her name. You know the adoring nickname he gives her. He calls her Little Fawn. Little
Fawn. Okay. Yeah. Can I point at?
And he's Big Stag.
Ugh, it's weirdly gross.
Well, and am I close? Am I anywhere close to where Schwartz is getting handcuffed? Like, could I get there easily or no?
You'd have to go through the grease, and then there's also a circle of guards kind of blocking the way. So because you can't move, like he is surrounded.
Well, instead, I'm just going to it's making sure that Guard A can hear me, and I haven't attacked anyone, so I'm hoping he's not. I'm not. Don't look worrying, but I want to point at Guard E and say, "That's the man I saw with Little Fawn." And then I'm gonna also head back to try and get just like where that drunken guy was.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll a deception check with advantage because you've used your vampire ability to get it.
I can do.
I'm going to ignore the fact that you know his wife's nickname, and he's going to ignore it too, because I like your intent.
Well, that's what. Yeah, okay.
That's who I saw with baby.
Oh, okay. I got a 19 on deception.
That guard looks around and for flavor and for fun and for power, I'm going to say that not only does your vampiric touch give you secrets, it also sort of plants the seed of doubt in their mind. It's a trade. You're torrenting their brain. You've seeded and you have leached. So it turns around and goes, with my little fawn, huh? I knew it. And you get the feeling on that guard's turn, they're going to try get Gardy, who sorry, not Gardy. Gardy has handcuffed.
Yeah, it is Gardy
Schwartz.
though. But that's who he's going for. You said Gardy was that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna flash Schwartz a little wink to try and be like, yeah, maybe that'll help you out.
Schwartz, you're in the middle of a group of guards. You do not see the non-verbal wink that's happening behind you. But yeah, you move back and you're now close to Fox with the commoner.
Yeah, our little snack. Cool.
Yeah. It is the commoner's turn, and they use their entire action to go, please, what's going on? What the? Oh, I shouldn't have had that pale ale barrel infused. And hiccups, and this just gross odor. You're actually, your eyes sting from the odor of this guy's breath, as it knocks you back a little bit, and you just see him retching. Not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. Which brings us to Lady Perlenbacker.
So we've got 3 have run off.
3 have run off down the street in the direction of the guardhouse you passed on your way in.
We should probably stop them. So how far are they from the guardhouse then?
Oh, like 6-second rounds, 60 foot. Like there'll be a while.
Okay, so they're not like
you kind of made your way. You're closer to the. Actually, they're dumb. They should have gone the other way. There's a guardhouse way closer, but it's not the one they're from. So
This is
Cool,
yeah, there'll be a
works.
while. You get the feeling there'll be 4 rounds to get there. 4 rounds to get there.
As in, they're not going to immediately get there.
No.
Okay. So they're. Just check my ranges actually, because I haven't gotten particularly close with everyone.
4 rounds. That's like less than a minute.
3
away.
that are there that have run
They're
off.
sprinting.
Oh wait. Okay. So would one be within 60 feet?
Yes. Yeah. They've just left. They're
Okay.
just on the edge of 60 feet.
Okay. Then I'm going to cast command at the closest one. And I get to say one word, and for flavor I'm going to go, "You stop," and try and get him just stop dead in his tracks. So he has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Cool. And what is your spell save DC?
It is 13.
You rolled a 16. It's
So
continuing
he's
down as well.
fine.
He is.
So he hears some lunatic calling out behind him.
Yeah, the lunatic that scared him like shitless.
Oh yeah, it makes sense why you'd be running. Then I'm going to use the rest of my turn to. I'm going to try and traverse the grease and stand beside Fox Roxair, because I don't want anyone to know, but I need to protect my asset.
It will take you to get through the grease and the other side and to them. Will take you a little bit of time.
Yeah,
like 2 turns. By the end of your second turn, you'll be there. Like this turn and then the next turn.
Would it be an action to float vampire style?
It would to use your area. Yeah. Unfortunately.
I think that makes sense. All right, yeah, let's do it. I'd say to what she's trying to like tiptoe through it and like touch it as little as physically possible because it's gross.
At the very least, no one's gonna like attack of opportunity on you or the only people who would are the other side of the grease, so we don't have to worry about it until your next turn.
They can attack if they want, they just can't get closer.
Yes.
But they're too scared. So do I have to make a check to defeat this grease?
Yes, you need to make a dexterity saving throw DC 13.
Oh. Now I'm wearing plate mail. Does that give me disadvantage?
I don't think so.
No, only on stealth checks.
So that is a 14.
You good?
Yeah, you pass. So just last movement, you get to 3/4 of the way through this grease.
Grand. Yeah, it's repulsive. So disgusting. I'm choking. I'm choking.
I'm sorry about the grease.
Von Beer, you haven't noticed a lot happening around you, except for the fact that you've been handcuffed behind your back and jostled.
Oh, they like fully handcuffed me behind my back. I thought he just handcuffed my hand to his hand.
No, he's not an idiot. That's what idiot
I was gonna make him hit himself. Okay.
I mean, you still
plan.
can, but you're handcuffed like an actual criminal, not like a friendly jape.
Well, you know, fine.
It is your turn.
Cool. Well then, I wasn't worried because vampires can turn into mist, so I was just.
They sure can. Yeah.
Ooh.
Roll a d20. Your DC
Cool.
is 10.
Grand. Oh no. 5. It's fine.
You
I'm
start the
not worried.
process. Something about the yeah, you slightly become mist, and then the stress of the situation. It's just hard to think about nothing when you're thinking about everything. And it's just that's that sense of mindfulness, nothingness that usually dissipates you into mist. Chill for these vampires.
It's the lack of mindfulness.
Empty mind, still as a bull. So unfortunately, you failed. You are no longer mist. But actually, let's see if they noticed. Yeah, they did. They noticed you do something. Yeah. Right. So that's your action. You still have your bonus action and your movement.
Cool. You'd think I'd know more about having a raven companion as a beastmaster. Is it a bonus action for my raven to do something?
I do not know that.
It actions on your. It's basically like having your action happen from a different range.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you get stuff
How
later on that makes it
inconvenient.
better. But as basically as far as having a companion is like if the animal's beside them and you're not, you can attack in melee, as if it's melee without you having to worry about being there. Is basically the way it works.
Right. Okay.
But I think you get to
Right.
buff it up later on. I think at 3rd level that's all it does.
Yeah. Too bad I was turned into a vampire at level 3, huh? All right.
You're never gonna grow up
Then-
anymore.
Then I'll do nothing. Nothing whatsoever.
These guards start to pick up Schwartz von Beer. And for the sake of brevity and plot, we will say that they have firemandom across the shoulder and are making their way out. And they turn to you, actually, Smithix, and go, so thankful for you to alerting to us to this menace, for causing the danger. I hope you're okay, and I hope the civilians that ran to the back for safety, they're also okay. In their confusion and in the ruckus, they don't realize that Lady Perlenbacker, the horrible monster that was in the streets, versus the lady who's now at the back, kind of dainty, and
Versus the lady in the sheets.
in the alleyway, are not the same person. And just before we go to our break, where we end is the guards pulling away Schwartz von Beer towards the guardhouse, presumably to lock him up in the cell for the night and deal with them in the morning.
For what crime? I'm yelling.
For the...
What did I do? Because all I did was make them think it was fire, which they can't know that I did because most of them didn't think it was fire. And then I walked in amongst them. Really, obliviousness shouldn't be a crime.
Yeah, they're kind of blaming the shrill attack and the grease and everything else on you, and the fact that you resisted arrest when you tried to get out of handcuffs and tried to get out of the grapple.
They think they can't prove that. They think I resisted arrest. I didn't turn.
Well, look,
we all know I failed. Yeah.
And
I'm fine. I'm just complaining a lot the entire way through.
And with Schwartz von Beer being taken away down towards the guardhouse to the east of the town, that is where we'll take our break. We're going to take a quick, it might be quicker than normal because we're all in our own homes. We might be back, not our usual 15 minutes, maybe 5 to 10. And after the break, we are going to announce a winner for the White Hag beer giveaway. If everyone just comments in the chat the word Phantom, the beer that launched us and the beer that got me this voucher in the first place, Phantom is the word. Everyone who wants to enter, just enter Phantom in the chat. I'll pick a winner after the break. And yeah, you get a voucher to buy yourself a case of beer or anything from their online store.
Amazing.
And I'll pick a winner. What I need to get from you after the show is your email address to send to them. just so they know who you are. And I'll send you also a code privately over an email, the code they send me. So see you all after the break for the thrilling conclusion of will Schwartz von Beer last until sunrise? Will sunrise kill him? Who knows? Back here in a very short time. So take care. Bye. Oh God, I hope our tech people know that we're. Hey, welcome to Homebrew Isolation, the one-shots we do while we're all in self-isolation. Homebrew Isles of Elation. That kind of sounds fantasy-esque. Yeah, let's go with that. Before we jump back into the thrilling conclusion of the Vlaaaa, the music and cultural festival that was set up by vampires to lure the herds, and only 4 of them seem to be capitalizing on this for plot. We have a winner of our White Hag voucher giveaway. So I put all your names into a random name generator. Let me just change tabs. Go to that. Should I chat out the comment picker doc? Okay, I did. Commentpicker.com. That's confusing. And we have a winner. Oh, okay. Hopefully this isn't doxing someone on the internet. Their username is their name, I think. So congratulations to Steve Cassidy. You are the winner of our White Hag voucher giveaway. If you shoot us a message on social media, you can find us at Homebrew Quest, pretty much on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Or if you want to send us an email, rollforhomebrew@gmail.com. Shoot us an email, because then we'll have your email to send to the White Hag, and I'll respond to it with the code. And before you use the code, I'm just going to give them a heads up. This is who's going to use it on our behalf, etc., etc. Congratulations, well done. Hopefully, I guess if your username is a real name, maybe it's not your real name. Who knows?
Great way to guilt-free dox someone else.
Yeah, true. Yay, Dahul, you look after yourself. Oh no, everyone knows where you live. So yeah, if you don't follow us on social, at Homebrew Quest is where we post kind of behind the scenes stuff. If there's if there's ever any changes to the show, we usually comment. We do a lot of on the day activity and a little bit of running up to the stream activity. If you're a first time viewer, we do this every 2 weeks, every fortnight on a Tuesday from 8 until usually around half 10, 11, give or take. This one will probably be a little bit shorter because we're all streaming from home, and our partners and loved ones are suddenly judging us for what we do every second Tuesday.
Well, in fairness, Keelan has to deal with that every show.
Oh yeah, Claire's been judging us from the start.
Yeah,
right from the very beginning. If you are a first-time viewer, we do have a main campaign. Go to youtube.com/homebrewquest. One of the playlists is just Homebrew Season 1. You can start from the beginning, work your way through it. I've actually, because we have a Discord and we have a kind of a little bit of community building, it's small at the moment. If you could tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone who's interested in like fantasy adventures, complete fucking aroundism on the internet. It's not structured, and beers. They might be into the show. I have heard there's a particular episode. Ask anyone who follows us one episode to jump in on. I think it's episode 3 or 4. Usually by the 3rd one we found our speed, and you can always go back to the beginning to get to you're not missing out much. We were still finding,
third one I think
still learning the ropes.
Yes, because that's the one with the tomb, I think.
Yes, yeah. So if you want to jump in and where it all kind of kicks off, episode 3 is a good. You're not losing out on anything really, but episode 1 and 2 we're learning.
They're still great. Go back and watch them anyway.
This is why I'm not always the voice of the show. Anyway, right, let's get back into the adventure. And let us see. Sorry, I got distracted by our technomancers. Actually, that's a good place to shout them out. Huge thanks to Paul and Angus, who are technomancers. They're normally either side of me, but I sleep in a big bed with my wife, so they're not here at the moment.
Added himself to the old stream. Shouldn't have done that. Yes. He's fired now. Fired.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's Paul. Paul is the man behind the computers, and Angus is listening to us. He's normally running Sirenscape. So yeah, before we jump back in, huge thanks to White Hag for launching a beer. giving away vouchers and us being able to pass the love forward. If you haven't tried their beers, order a mixed case. They do mixed cases on their website. That's the best way to do it. Obviously, thanks to Dakota Irish. They are the main partner of the show. Use Homebrew Show at their store, on the online store, to get a 10% discount. Sirenscape, not here today, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't shout them out. It's a free soundboard tool. And at Home Request, that's our socials. Obligatory legal stuff done. Let's get to the fun and the beers. Where we last left off, Schwartz von Beer was being dragged, kicking and screaming, I think it would be fair to say.
Oh, yeah.
Down the streets of Mahon Falls, the host town for the Fleadh, or as those in the know call it, the Vlaaaa. For secretly, it is a way to gather crowds of people to feast upon them. What these chuckle fucks don't know is that there's been some very successful vampires around the place, just like blam, 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 feasting away. But look, if it wasn't a fuck around show, we wouldn't be having as much fun as we have. And if I didn't get to make fun of them, I wouldn't be learning as a DM. We're going to shoot forward in time to just before dawn break, where Schwartz von Beer has been locked up in a holding cell in one of the guard posts in the town of Mahon Falls. It's getting dangerously close to sunrise. We can see that classic tension building beam of light moving into the jail cell, and Schwartz has put themselves in the corner to try dodge it. And at that moment,
are his legs open, and is it coming up kind of like laser to James Bond crotch wise? Because I hope so. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, it's the best way to dodge dodge sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schwartz von Beer likes to play with danger. Yeah. He's
I'm
constantly on the edge of the sunlight. You put me in a corner, Ben. It's completely
yes, I literally caged you and put you in a corner.
Yeah.
Were people aware of UV when Bram Stoker wrote Dracula? Because I mean, it really fucks with vampirism if it's actually the UV and not the sunlight that kills them. We'll let it slide. At that moment, the jail cell opens up.
I'm like, no, I don't think he was afraid of sunbeds.
How do I get this sick tan? Vampire Jersey Shore. That should be our next. That should be our next one shot. Anyway, focus. This always happens in part 2. If you're a new viewer, by the way, the beer kicks in and we fucking take it off the rails. Just at that moment, cling, 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 you hear the gates of the bars of the cell open, and in walk a tall, stoic-looking man. Schwartz, you know this isn't the sheriff by any means, or it's not the Garda commissioner. They seem to be dressed in traveling duffel coat, some worn leathers underneath. On their belts just seems to be steaks, sirloin, tenderloin, T-bone, all the steaks.
Yeah. Look, he doesn't get to talk about meat that often.
I was gonna say, watch the vegan try and name cuts of meat. Yeah. What other one?
I did all right. Yeah. Murder, and murder. So some steaks on the side, a couple of vials of swirling liquid, and they walk in. Well. Who do we have here, huh? And they're kind of eyeballing you. You've never heard of a description of Van Morrison Helsing out loud, but it seems to be who's walked into your cell right now.
I'm gonna.
You might
say
be
exactly
muted.
What he says.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say what he says. I'm like, well, who do we have here? You're clearly not the sheriff.
No, I am who the sheriff calls in times of need. Hi.
Hi. You should have started with the hi. Would have been friendlier. Just general jail cell banter. You should be friendlier at the outgo. You started bad cop, or bad guard. Not great opener.
Man, it's clearly a butcher. He's not a guard, he's a butcher.
I've been tracking your kind ever since this old Fleadh has started, or as I believe you call it, the Vlaaaa.
I don't know what you're talking about. My kind, the people who like some good crack and some kill.
Oh, well then why don't you step into this here beam of daylight high?
No, you seem to want me to do that. Doesn't seem like a good plan. I'm not dancing to your tune, fella.
I tell you what, I know you're a self-serving kind of folk, and you tell me where I can find a bigger catch, and I might just let you go.
I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of people watching us who didn't jump in. I mean, they're not good Samaritans at all. I would say they're worse criminals than me for having just walked up to a bunch of guards in an alleyway when there was clearly a problem going on. They grabbed me. It's it's preposterous.
See, that's why we're at a bit of an impasse. You're not here. You're not here under any sort of official arrest. I came to the town a couple of days ago, and
this is an unlawful arrest. This isn't official, so I can go.
Well,
am I being detained?
You are not being detained, but you are being. Right. Are you trying to walk past them?
Well, I'm not being detained. I should be allowed to leave. I try to leave.
All right. They're going to, like, quick as a flash, one of those stakes comes to their hand, and whoop, boop, 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 boom. They make 3 quick attacks. For anyone watching, I am using the Drow Elite Warrior. 2 quick attacks. Drow Elite Warrior stat block for this.
Okay.
Ooh, that's not great for the second one. Does a 13 hit?
No.
Cool. I'm pretty sure a natural 1 doesn't. So in a moment, Van Marzen Helsing tries to get 2 stakes and tries to like blam straight in the chest, but the precision of this move is so pernickety that they manage to miss completely. And at that moment, we're going to cut to Lady Perlenbacker, to Fox Rocksayer, and Smithix. Is there anything you might have been doing in the
scene? Do you want to run through, and do not excuse the pun, the stakes of what happens?
These are high stakes.
Yeah. What I've told the guys before is that a natural 20 on any dice roll from anyone who's attacking them is an immediate stake to the heart, and they dushed. There's no turning into mist. There's no returning back to their coffins, which
Stake
are
to the
neatly.
heart.
And he's to blame. Yeah. If only it was a Van Morrison song.
It could be.
Yeah. You fang-eyed girl. But both misses. Not the Drow Elite Warrior I thought he'd be, but rather the clumsy, kind of Belfast, kind of not accent he really is. I've never really hunted vampires. You just have to call yourself a vampire hunter and they just give you a free drink.
He's never had to prove it before.
He just points at like fires he's put out and being like, see that pile of ash? Used to be a vampire.
Yeah, he didn't know what to say to that guard at the gate. The guard asked, "What are you here for?" And he just went,
Yeah. He's just been murdering albino people at every town he's gone to.
He's the true enemy.
He's the big bad guy.
The 3 of you. Is there anything you might be doing? There's kind of a moment of opportunity here. I mean, in my imagination, you're just outside the guard cell and you've just sneezed, but maybe that's something I heard in real life happen. Not.
I'm mistaken. I'm sure I would have had the foresight to mute my chat. I definitely didn't sneeze on screen. So
one of us would cartoonishly hold a finger under your nose to stop.
Well, after feasting on the commoner, given that all of the guards left, I think we maybe followed where
so the 3 of us just devour that poor guy.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds good. Actually, Fox Rocksayer, do you think you got the lion's share of that commoner?
No, I did not. I got the entrails. I was glad to have them. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Because it won't come up probably, given that you haven't gone to the pub or the bandstand, but this commoner did. Unfortunately, anyone who did drink, which might be all three of you, does have to take 4 points of damage. They were drinking their entire night from a barrel-aged pale ale. The barrels were garlic barrels. It's gross. They really shouldn't sell it.
I would say I definitely didn't try to generously leave anything for Foxtrot. I'd say I would vote that I'd take more damage than he does. I was like, oh, I'll leave you loads, and then I definitely
that's so sweet.
But you'd leave me something like the liver.
Yeah, just enough to be like the bad blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 points of damage for your kindness. Maybe.
So we've got a bit of a hangover from that, classic Vlaaaa first night mistake. Sure.
Yeah, watch out for what they age the pale ales in. Sometimes it's garlic. It's real gross.
Could it be
microbrewers stop experimenting.
Garlic? I don't know. Maybe. What if we grind up a crucifix and put it in the beer? I don't know.
Now that we've feasted, I suppose our main goal is getting our buddy out.
Yes.
So, as I'd like to create an experimental elixir, just like to have.
I'd like you to do that. That sounds good.
Just to have.
And I've got an elixir of resilience, which I give to Lady Perlenbacher. You get +1 AC for 10 minutes after you drink this.
Ooh. Thank you so much. This will be extremely useful. You're so perfect.
You're actually able to, because of the way this jail cell is set up, it's like just classic brick and mortar, but there's gaps in the bricks that you can all sort of mist in through the back, should you wish. And Schwarzwaldbier, it's not the first time they've had to break you out of a joint.
What do you say?
So I'm saying
it's a liability.
You're a hothead and you don't play by the book. You don't play by the book.
You don't play by the book.
You're a renegade, damn it.
Let us get back to murdering.
So you might suspect this. So as you walk by, and given the critical fail of Van Mars and Helsing, they're all turned around. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And in this moment, I would like you to roll a vampire check to see if you can kind of mist your way out and join your friends.
Okay. Deal. Oh. Can I reroll ones whenever I get them as a Lightfoot Halfling, or is it just the once a day?
Yeah.
No.
Sweet.
You
I'm glad that was a 1. Oh, natural 20!
Hey!
What an overpowered race.
So, using some amazing performance of your own, you see mist spell out this way, pointing towards a crack in the wall, and you join your friends. You guys, just to give you the benefit of the doubt, have gathered your horses. We say that's fair to book it out of town.
Sure.
Right. And as you all kind of saddle up and ride away from Matin Falls to potentially, it's only night 1 of 3, to potentially come back for another feed tomorrow, you book it towards your wagons. And pretty soon, you start hearing the sounds of mobs, angry villagers. It's led by Van Mars and Helsing, and they seem to be galloping behind you. There's sort of a chase situation happening. The sheer adrenaline of the situation, Smithix, you gallop, and because you're on your horse, you gallop right across that river out of the city gates. The rest you do as well. I'd like to use, this is the first time I've tried it. I had it kind of in the back pocket, a chase mechanic that I can't remember exactly who. I know for real, it was the DM of Questfall, a Canadian podcast, Adam Snowball, who told me about it, but I think he got it from Angry GM. So as a first-time GM, I'd like to try it out. Essentially, you guys need to survive 5 rounds without being caught.
Okay.
And all you need to tell me is how you're sort of dealing with each round's obstacle. The way it was described to me was, instead of imagining it on a horizontal plane, imagine like you're falling and there's just obstacles coming towards you. So as soon as you dodge one, you're in the clear, but you're all galloping into the tent.
Cool.
So as you make your way out of the tent towards your wagons, in a roundabout way to not lead them directly to the source of your coffins, the sounds of angry chanting, the pounding of hooves, a mob of angry villagers right behind you. In front of you, you're running at the east of the town, the sunrise coming up through the sky. So you guys need to get to your coffins pretty quick, or you're dust. And the first round, everyone roll initiative, actually. This should only take 5 rounds or less, depending on how well you do. Okay.
Nice. Can I just say, I love the smell of mobs in the morning.
It's not the first time this has happened, nor will it be the last. 25 to 20. Nope. 20 to 15 to 20.
Wait, sorry, I might be within that. 22.
22. 15 to 20.
18.
18. Nice. 10 to 15.
10.
Cool.
10 as well.
Nice. And nice.
I will let my servant go first.
There.
He must.
And there. So Schwarzwambier and Smithix, you gallop as fast as the wind. You're no Snigweha. And you are top of the initiative, so ahead of the chasing mob. So what you don't have to deal with, you automatically kind of survive their first round of attacks as arrows, bolts, magic missiles try to slow yourselves and your horses. Gav and Wes, there are, or rather, sorry, Lady Perlenbacher and Fox Roxair, there are arrows, bolts, magic missiles flying past you. How would you deal with this obstacle?
I would like to... Okay. I'm going to immediately cast Thaumaturgy into a nearby alleyway and try and make it sound like a woman crying for help. Being like, please help me, there's vampires. I'm so frail and delicate. Or,
Classic woman, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But then when they get there, it turns out it's just a big burly guy. And she's like, oh, well, you shouldn't stereotype. So I'm going to cast that on my action. And then I want to use my... So that's a cantrip. So I can cast a leveled spell as a bonus action if I can, correct?
Yes,
I would then like to cast a... for my bonus action, I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on myself.
And Shield of Faith is the casting time of that is a bonus action, right?
Correct.
Cool. Then you're all good.
Yeah. Which increases my AC by... I should have had this open, but I didn't. I apologize. +2.
+2.
So,
all right.
So I'm going to cast my Thaumaturgy, and then I'm going to reach into my cloak and pull out an upside down crucifix, like a rusted crucifix on a chain. It's like a remnant of my old devotion paladin days. And Mother, like, rather than a prayer to a deity, it's kind of like cursing Strahd, the head vampire of my line. Just be like, you fucking prick, fuck you.
Oh, nice. Now Strahd's for real in Hibernia.
This is my pronunciation of it. My Gaelic isn't so good anymore.
Strand. There's a lot of strands in
Ireland. So with your new AC, does a 17 hit?
Does not.
Right. These things are just pinging off your amazing Shield of Faith as you avoid this first round of attack.
I'd say, if I may, rather than them bouncing off, can they be like sort of looking like they're absorbed into nearby shadows? Like darkness, I think, is Lady Perlenbacher's whole shtick.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. Provided you can name one track off Permission to Land, you can use darkness, or rather, the darkness.
What band that is?
The Darkness.
Was that
Permission
first
to Land was
album?
their debut album. Yeah.
Oh shit! Right. We did that song together in school.
That was decades ago. Anyway, yeah, you're fine. That was just me, just razzing your berries.
I'm gonna have to reflect on our friendship now.
Fox there. You got arrows flying your way.
So arrows flying my way. I don't have much force, so I'd like to zig and zag in order to kind of avoid the arrows, and then cast Minor Illusion to have a large, impassable rock appear in the middle of the path where they're chasing us.
Nice. So with the minor illusion behind you and weaving your horse, make a quick animal handling check. I'm going to impose disadvantage for the attacking mob.
Okay. Animal handling. Oh, it's 3.
Straight as an arrow, your horse gallops to the wind. But don't worry, it was only a 6, so I presume all these arrows are just
double bluff.
Actually, themselves. Yeah.
Everyone was
you've
ready
done the
for this
classic
zigzag.
Rhino shootout right down the center.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Really threw them off, and they've dove left and right. But yeah, again, all these arrows and magic missiles and bolts. Actually, magic missile theoretically should hit, but they're commoners. They don't know magic. A few of them have managed to gallop the horses faster. They didn't focus their first round on attack. They're now side by side with you, riding alongside you, and they're trying to jump and tackle you off your horses. You see a few of them catch mage hand to try and take the reins to pull your horses to a stop. With that in mind, Schwartz von Beer, how do you deal with this obstacle?
Okay, well, being the wild card and the fact that I haven't cast any of my ranger spells, and correct me if I'm wrong, I have the spell Jump, which allows a touched creature to jump 3 times its normal jump. Can I touch my horse and then encourage it with my ranger slick animal handling skills to get the horse to jump forward like 3 times as much as it normally would?
Yes, absolutely. I would say as a Ranger Beastmaster, you don't need to make a roll for this. You can just place your hand.
Bear in mind, my
on your
animal
horse.
handling is -2.
So when the DM normally says, "I'm not going to make you roll for this,"
Just
I would like to.
No, you're right. I don't roll for it. I'm just,
you're more than
giving you all
welcome
the
to roll with
information.
advantage if you want.
No, I'm fine. So I have to cast the
Okay.
spell.
It's like, you succeed. Oh, please. Okay.
Just making sure we all have the
Miss-
same information.
If the whole class is getting lines, I'd like to do lines too.
Look, that's the kind of wild card he is, right?
Yeah. Alright.
So I
You
guess
see your
I have to
steed.
roll for the spell.
Yeah, you can just cast it as a touch spell. Yeah. Schwartz von Beer's horse leaps like Poochie returning to his home planet, just out of frame. Which brings us on to Smithix. With your dear friend and life saved of Schwartz von Beer, how would you like to deal with actually, sorry, to give a shout out to chat, like the car from Greece sailing away at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Nice.
That horse
work,
just
chat.
Some of the gags from chat have been just
Really on point.
recurring jokes have been
Smithix,
fantastic.
mage hands are trying to grab your reins. How do you tackle this particular obstacle?
Mage hands. Okay. I have no idea. I can't do spells, right? I mean, can I
Stab him.
Yeah, I can't stab anything nearby, right?
You can make a range attack to some of the riders either side of you. So you've got an angry mob riding kind of parallel to you, and they're trying to take control of your horse.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Can I tell anything about? I'm quite close to my horse. Can I tell anything about my horse right now?
Yeah, your horse thinks one of the other horses is sleeping with their wife.
Thank you. Which horse? Horse A? Horse B?
Horse E.
Yeah.
Why is E always funny?
Oh my God, kill me. Have the letter knack. No, can I just try and use the horse as a weapon and kind of like smush it into a horse nearby, like almost like try and headbutt it as I run?
Absolutely. Roll a animal handling check with advantage. Actually, it's chat who are giving this to you. You're using a renegade move called Phantom Slap. You're using one of the mage hands to slap your horse and pull them into one of the others.
Oh God. Okay, that was a 7 with advantage.
There's a caveat in chat that I'm going to draw attention to because it's fantastic. the caveat from DB Gibson says, I'm going to say that there is a verbal component where you have to say phantom slap like judo chop in Austin Powers.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
So that's why I tell the
Phantom
horse
slap.
to say that as I do it. So he neighs out a phantom slap as I try and whoop. But with a 7, how did I do?
So you telling the horse to speak kind of explains your 7, I think. That you could have said it and it would have been fine. Yeah, you tussle into one of the horses. I'm going to say what the three of you, what Perlenbacher, Fox, and Schwartz see is your good friend Smithix just like kamikazing into one of these villagers. It's bodies and horses a tumble. It's that scene you don't want to see in Red Dead Redemption 2 where you're getting that kind of gray sea and you're like, oh, I hope I have a horse reviver. It's that as you see into the underbrush, horse, mob, and person just sort of tumble away. I'm going to say it doesn't bode well for you, Smithix, but the commotion bodes very well for your comrades, for your fellow vampires. As you kick up all this dust and cause sort of the horses not leaping the fence thing that happens in horse racing. It's like a pile up. We're gonna skip round 3. That power move is like has really caused some commotion here, and your sacrifice, which brings us straight on to the 4th round of the escape, which I'm going to give to Perlenbacher and Fox. Somewhere in your mind, you can feel someone trying to penetrate it with a skill you're almost familiar with. You know that your friend Schwartz von Beer can do this. They're trying to make you believe that there's something in front of you that mightn't be the case. I need you to make a intelligence saving throw. The DC is 11.
Oh, that's annoying. I have to confirm, but I'm pretty sure
Schwartz,
I got
you're
10.
fine. You're fine. You're This defying move was
7
saving
for
life.
All right.
16.
Sorry,
no, wait,
16?
17.
And 7. Lady Perlenbacher, you're almost certain when you first rode into this town there wasn't a river here, but now it feels like there's a river of rushing water in front of you. It's not so far that your horse couldn't jump it, but it's risky and it's difficult. So with a 17, or at least you bet the DC.
17.
Yeah, you ride right through. You know that they're trying to say that there's rushing water, and there is not. You get the feeling that the mob have been led on some of the skills that Van Morrison Helsing have, as is in his profession as a vampire hunter. They've been educated. They were almost expecting you this year. Who would have thought after 50 years of the Vlaaaa it gets suspicious? But Lady Perlenbacher, this could be a dire situation for you. There's a river in front of you. Yeah. And it is rushing water. What do you do?
Does it look like it's a river running like from left to right in front of me, or does it look like kind of like a moat around the city?
Left to right. Yeah, just right in your path. You actually, it's odd. You're kind of making sense. It's like, it's not coming from anywhere and it's not going anywhere, but it must come from somewhere. And it must go, all rivers do.
Like if I like just change direction, I could maybe escape out of one of a potential other.
Yeah, you could cut off into the trees.
That's actually not something I should ask. I'm going to bank left immediately. I see a river, I'm going to go left. I'm not crossing that fucking thing.
Right. You bank left.
I'm going to try and find another exit from the town. I'm just going to book it.
Cool. This is okay. You bank left and you split away from the party. So Smithix tumbles to the right. You bank left. 2 of the horses straight ahead. Lady Perlenbacher, I need you to make not animal handling. Maybe it is. Like, what's your desired outcome from banking left? It's kind of underbrush and trees and
I want to break away from the mob and just find, like, maybe escape to a different location and then meet up with everyone else once things have died down, kind of thing. Like if I have to hide out in the woods for a little bit, so be it, and then find another way across the river that I think is there.
Yeah, make a performance check. The performance is that you're not the head vampire. You're not the one worth pursuing.
Okay, I'm actually quite good at this. I should be doing more performing. That is a 22.
Wow, yeah. You bank off, you pick the right time. It's only you who sees this river. So the rest of the mob that's following you, aside for the ones who cast this spell, just see you disappear into the wilderness, and they're dead set on chasing down these other two. For the last and final round of this pursuit, from the distance, you hear the voice of Van Morrison Helsing, muttering and moving their hands. And then there's darkness. The sun was rising over the top of these hills towards you, and suddenly you're plunged. You cannot see a thing. The spell Darkness has been cast. Even if you have dark vision, you cannot see it. It's magical by its means. Fox and Schwartz von Beer, this is the first time you've been made scared of the dark. That's usually your bag.
As you.
What would you like to do?
Raven. My raven's flying above. It should be able to see the area of darkness and beyond that. It should have been tracking me, right? Can I communicate with the raven or see through it, or how does this bond work? If I can use it to attack, then
I don't know if you can see through. I don't think you're like warging into the raven. As far as I know, Beastmasters can't do that.
I don't think so, yeah.
But you do, while you look this up for me, see if you have like a telepathic bond with your raven. And I'll shoot over to Fox Roxair.
Sorry, I think I froze a bit there. So is this, I have dark vision. Can I see through this, or is this...
It's magical darkness, which doesn't...
Yeah, which doesn't affect it. Okay.
I think true sight is the only way to get through it, maybe.
True sight. So in which case, I think my aim would be to just keep going straight and, if anything, faster. So I'm going to cast Long Strider. So in the same way that Schwartz von Beer casted Jump, I'd like to smack the ass of my horse with a magically imbued Long Strider and it increase its speed by 10 feet per round, which I assuming its sprinting is 20 feet per round plus however far a horse goes. So it's going pretty fast now. So I just like to kind of try get out of this darkness as quick as possible.
Yeah, let me quickly look up how far darkness is. So you're increasing the speed of your... Ben, Googling darkness won't help. Google darkness 5e. I don't have the... But I actually leave my books in Keelan's house, so...
yeah, I'll go check.
15-foot radius sphere. So you only have to get out of 15 foot of darkness. So you've increased this horse's speed by 10 foot. I want you to roll a d20 with advantage. It's just a basic luck roll. It's not a thing that is in 5e, but you basically need to beat a 10. It's a 50-50 chance that you... Ooh! Nice. In this moment, as Schwartz von Beer's horse, which I forgot was actually leapt above, maybe you might be even higher than a 15-foot radius of darkness. I mean, you might still be in the sky.
What's three times the height and or distance of a horse jump? You know. Exactly. Hard to say.
If as Schwartz von Beer is ahead, you, Fox Roxair, you don't know why you do this, but your horse does it too, and it's magical, and it's a bond that if we ever come back to these characters, will give you a boon. You both close your eyes, and you feel the rush of wind against you. You can still feel the beam of sunlight cresting over the horizon. And you zig and you zag, and you disappear. So with Smithix crumbled away to one of the mobs, Schwartz von Beer high in the air, Lady Perlmacher peeled off, and you using this moment of opportunity to also disappear, we see a mob of villagers ride through this darkness. Some of them are crumpling in on themselves as their horses don't know what to do. Van Helsing pierces right through, being the one who cast it and kind of pinpointing a place where his horse could go. But when he breaks through, there's no one there. Just a beautiful red morning sun. And it's a red sky in the morning. All of you have disappeared, except for Smithix, who is somewhere in the distance and may be dead forever. Who knows?
Feasting is what I'm doing.
Feasting.
Yeah.
Feasting is
What I would call feasting in the fray. Yeah.
which, given that you would save anyone in this party, the fact that you've sort of sacrificed your life for Schwartz von Beer is quite poetic. And as the sun rises and you all duck into the shadow, the town is not quite sure what's happened. Some of them were still drunk, to be honest. They were kind of just woken up by the ringing of those shop bells, alarms, vampires in the town. They just sort of went for it. It's the Vlaaaa. You just sort of roll with the punches. But all of you have managed to feed somewhat on a drunken villager, albeit one infused with garlic pale ale, and escaped to your wagons for the night. Smithix might be dead, you don't know, but there's still 2 more days of the Vlaaaa ahead, and plenty of crack and fun to be had, which is where we will end this adventure, and maybe, should the real world demand it, pick it up once again, right where we've left off.
Awesome.
So at that point, I'd like to thank chat for following us through this whirlwind and mad adventure. That was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much. I'm glad I got to spend another wonderful Tuesday, even in these difficult times, drinking beers and having the crack with you guys. Hopefully everyone else out there is looking after themselves, checking in on their friends and family and loved ones. It's an odd time in the world, to put it lightly. We're going to keep doing this as much as we can. Every Tuesday, every second Tuesday, we're going to do this until we're allowed to actually meet up again. And I think when we do meet up, we're just going to we're going to have a big group hug and take a big old group selfie, and we'll post it on our social channels at Homebrew Quest to be like, hey, look, we're back and we're here. And we're all in Keelan says, or a studio if we find. To give you a little backstory. Yeah, to give you a backstory to when we started streaming, it was like, Keelan, I promise, 3 episodes max in your house. Then we're gonna find a studio space. So we are on the lookout. If anyone knows anywhere in Dublin that's sort of affordable, because it's all out of our own back pocket. We don't have a Patreon. We don't have like an Indiegogo or anything like that. We just sort of do it for fun and for love of drinking nice beers and playing D&D. So if you can actually build this small little community, you guys in chat tonight have been amazing to help build this into something kind of fun and really to discipline ourselves, because the more people putting pressure on us, the more we're gonna make regionals. That's my promise. Tell a friend, talk about us on social. If you enjoyed a particular moment and we clip it and share it out, just reshare that. Until then, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Look after each other. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and peace out.
Bye.